Have you ever wondered what makes a motherboard really stand out in the mid-range market? Today, we are going to explore the Asus Strix Z890-E motherboard. It has so many features, and some are really unique compared to other boards in this price range. Whether you are a gamer, a content creator, or someone who just loves high-speed computers, this motherboard might surprise you. So let's dive in and see what it has to offer. The Asus Strix Z890-E motherboard belongs to the mid-range segment. You can see this in two main ways: its features and its price. At the time of preparing this review, on Newegg it cost around $469, while the official MSRP is $500. This tells us that Asus is offering a lot of features for a mid-range price. But what exactly makes this motherboard special? And how is it different from others in the same range? Let's find out. The motherboard comes in a standard Asus box. On the back of the box, you will see a brief list of main advantages of this board. Inside the box, you will get all the usual things: a set of SATA cables, cable ties to keep wires neat, a Wi-Fi antenna, a short guide to help you get started, some stickers, a small keychain strap, rubber bands, and clips for M.2 drives. This is basically the standard package you will see with most motherboards today. The board itself has a dark gray color, almost black, and it is standard ATX size. The PCB has an 8-layer design. This is an important difference from cheaper boards, which usually have fewer layers. More layers in the PCB help with stability, especially if you plan to use high-speed DDR5 memory. In the upper left corner of the motherboard, you will find two extra CPU power connectors. These are almost hidden because of the large cooling heatsinks. In the upper right corner, there are connectors for the CPU cooling fans and pumps, as well as for case fans. There are also connectors for ARGB lighting, and a jumper that allows you to increase CPU voltage safely. Along the right edge of the motherboard, from top to bottom, are the QLED, quick diagnostic indicators, followed by a 7-segment postcode display. This postcode display is another important difference from cheaper boards. It helps you quickly identify hardware problems if your computer doesn't start. Moving down, we have a power button, a programmable reset button, the main motherboard power connector, a 5GB USB 3 connector for the case, a 20GB USB 3 connector in USB-C format, and another side 5GB USB 3 connector. There are also 4 SATA ports for storage drives and a connector for a case fan. Along the bottom edge of the motherboard, from left to right, you will find connectors for front panel audio, a Thunderbolt 4 USB 4 port, 3 more case fan connectors, a PCI Express mode switch, pins for additional USB 2 connectors, temperature sensors and chassis open sensors, and the front panel buttons for power and reset with status indicators. In total, the board has 8 connectors for cooling fans and 3 connectors for addressable RGB lighting. The rear I/O panel of a motherboard is impressive. It has a record number of ports for a mid-range board: 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, 9 10GB USB ports, 3 5GB USB ports, 1 DisplayPort, 1 HDMI port, a Wi-Fi 7 module, a 5GB Realtek network port, 2 audio mini jacks, 1 optical audio connector, and buttons for BIOS reset and BIOS update via flash drive. The panel is covered by a large shroud with lighting. Unfortunately, the back of the motherboard does not have any protective backplate. One downside is that some sharp solder points on the back are poorly trimmed, which can be risky when handling the board. The CPU power uses an 18+1+2+2 VRM configuration, with main MOSFETs rated at 110 amps. This is another key difference from cheaper boards, which often have weaker power delivery. The motherboard has a CPU socket for LGA 1851 CPUs. There are 4 DDR5 memory slots. In addition to regular unbuffered DDR5 memory, the motherboard supports the new CUDIMM DDR5 standard, which uses a separate signal repeater amplifier. Asus claims it can support memory speeds up to 9200 megatransfers, or even higher. The total installed memory can reach 192GB. This motherboard supports all major memory overclocking technologies, including XMP profiles. It also has Asus's own features, such as NitroPath, DimmFlex, and DimmFit. The 8-layer PCB design should help make high-frequency memory more stable, which is useful if you want to push your RAM to its limits. At the bottom of the board, things get even more interesting. Next to the Z890 chipset, there are two full-size PCI Express slots. The first slot is PCI Express 5.0 for a graphics card. It can operate in X16 mode, or be bifurcated into X8, X4, X4. This flexibility can be very useful if you want to install multiple devices. The second PCI Express slot is PCI Express 4.0 and operates in X4 mode. Around these slots are 7 NVMe drive slots. This is one of the unique features of this motherboard. Directly under CPU is the first NVMe slot, M21, which supports PCI Express 5.0. It has a convenient heatsink with a heat pipe, making it easier to keep high-speed drives cool. Directly below it, from left to right, are M23 and M24 NVMe slots, also supporting PCI Express 5.0. Installing drive in any of these slots causes bifurcation of the X16 PCI Express slot for the graphics card, leaving only 8 lanes available. These two slots share a heatsink that is very hard to mount. It is attached with 3 screws, and there are no guides, which makes it tricky to align the heatsink correctly. The next lower slot, M22, is also connected to CPU. It has 4 PCI Express lanes, but only in the 4.0 standard. This is limitation of a Z890 chipset. It is unclear why both NVMe drives could not be connected via PCI Express 5.0, but we know that the Nova Lake will fix this. The remaining 3 NVMe slots connect to the Z890 chipset via PCI Express 4.0. Intel Rapid Storage technology supports RAID 0, 1, 5, and 10, but CPU-connected NVMe drive do not support RAID 10. Of the last 4 NVMe slots, 3 share a common heatsink with screws. This solution is not ideal compared to competitors. The audio system uses a Realtek ALC 4080 codec with Savitech amplifier. This is better than some nearby models in the lineup, but still not as good as dedicated sound card. Networking includes one 5GB Realtek RTL8126 Ethernet port and Wi-Fi 7 via Intel BE200 controller. Wi-Fi 7 supports dual-channel operation with 320 MHz bandwidth. In ideal conditions, wireless speed can reach 5.8 gigabits per second. The antenna has a quick-release connector. For basic testing, we used an Intel Core Ultra 7265K processor and G-Skill Trident Z 6400 memory, 2x48 GB at 6800 megatransfers. The memory could boot at 72 megatransfers, but we limited it to 68 megatransfers. AIDA64 stress tests show a P-core frequency of 5.4 GHz, E-core 4.8 GHz at 85 degrees Celsius and 1.3 volts. Power consumption was limited to 290 watts. The Asus Z890-E is above average motherboard in both features and technical specs. It has a strong CPU power system and can connect many NVMe drives, 3 of them via the fastest PCI Express 5.0 interface. This may reduce lanes on the main graphics slot, but the trade-offs is worth it for high-speed storage. Its 8-layer design helps stabilize DDR5 memory at speeds up to 800 megatransfers or higher. It also has a postcode indicator, which is very helpful for troubleshooting. In the current Asus lineup, this is almost the first board with this feature. Similarly priced Asus ProArt models and lower models do not have a postcode indicator. Asus engineers thought this feature was not necessary, but competitors even added postcode indicators to lower-level boards. In practice, this board allows overclocking the Intel Core Ultra 7265K to 5.5 GHz on P-cores and 4.8 GHz on E-cores without any problems. There are many connectors for fan and lighting control. Following modern trends, it has only 4 SATA ports for older drives. Some drawbacks include the dark gray design, no white version like the Gigabyte Aero, no backplate, sharp solder points, Realtek instead of Intel network controller, no 10 gigabits port, no second network port, small markings, an inconvenient heatsink on the second and third NVMe drives. After removing the heatsink, reinstalling is difficult because there are no guides, which is strange, since the first NVMe heatsink is excellent. So who is this motherboard for? Even though it says gaming, it is not just for gamers. With its many high-speed storage options, 8-layer PCB, strong VRM, and many connectors, it can also build a great workstation. For example, for video editing or photo work, it is very capable.